And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman, who speaks to your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon to be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. And for some reason, if you think somebody may find this of interest, why don't you go ahead and hit the share button and you can share it with them as well. So I came across on the Wealth of Common Sense blog, Ben Carlson, I speak about him a lot. He had a reader ask him a question, and I liked it, and I want to sort of dissect some of the answers given and how people, let's say, do-it-yourself investors or people in the financial media sort of miss something here. So he says, a reader asks, I hate my job. Can you help me retire in 10 years? I'm already 45 years old and have only about $1 million saved. I am the only income earner out of a family of 4 with a wife plus 2 grade school children. I make about $300,000 a year. I plan to max out all my tax advantage contributions every year, totaling about $80,000, plus another $50,000 into a taxable account. I spend an average of $12,000 total for the family per month, including mortgage, car, expense, and vacations. How should I invest that so I can retire at 55? How much do I actually need to retire at 55 while supporting the family? I'm thinking of $3.5 million, but even that is worrisome. Also, what growth rate do you assume year over year? I use 4 or 5%, which gives drastically different numbers. I do have about $30,000 in cash savings, but plan to build that up to about 3 years of expenses. Did I mention I hate my job? So he answers like this. This is like the Voltron of financial planning questions. Everything comes together: retirement planning, financial market expectations, portfolio management, saving money, liquidity provisions, and the intersection of your career with your investment plan. I'm not sure what it is about round numbers that makes us feel more comfortable. No one ever dreams of retiring early at 54, 57. It's always 55 or 60, but I digress. Okay, this is being a millionaire in your mid-40s is good work. Saving more than 40% of your pre-tax income is also commendable. I'm guessing the savings rate is so high because I'm pretty sure that you hate your job. I'm guessing the $3.5 million goal came from the 4% rule. Spending $12,000 a month is $144,000 a year. If you divide 144 by 4%, you get to $3.6 million. Based on the assumptions given here, $1 million starting point plus $130,000 of annual savings, you are on the right track, giving a range of potential return. But I would say, right, you got 10 years. It means you're going to be saving over $1 million. You're going to be saving $1.3 million along the way, and you're starting at $1 million right now. So, you can make all kinds of predictions. Will you get to $3.5 million? I'm not sure. And I'm not going to run I don't think it pays even to try and run all of the different scenarios, but there's some other things at play here. He says financial freedom is in sight. The only question is, does it come at 55 or 60 or maybe 65? That depends. Your money has to last longer when you retire early. Setting return expectations is never easy. No one can predict these things. Just what I just said, right? Pundits have been predicting a new normal of lower stock market returns since 2010, yet we've continued to see double-digit annual returns for years on end. Will it continue? I don't know, right? I like the fact that you're being conservative. That builds a margin of safety into your plan. He says, I like the idea of building cash reserves heading into retirement too. It's good to have that kind of cushion. And then he hits something which I think is very, very important, and that's the ratio. He calls it the ratio of tax-deferred savings to taxable brokerage savings. This is my one qualm, for example, with Dave Ramsey, where he's always telling people, right, to top off as much as possible into your retirement accounts. I agree, but you can't do that at the expense of taxable savings as well, right? Taxable savings, on the one hand, stinks. So you've got to pay taxes. On the other hand, and this is what people forget all the time, if you could have $10 million at the age of 55 in tax-deferred savings. But you know what? You can't really access it. You can't really access that money until you're 59 and a half. And then when you do access that money, that's when the taxes start. I'm not saying not to put money into tax-deferred accounts. Contrary, right? Put as much as you can, but don't neglect taxable savings as well, because taxable savings, even along the way, sometimes you need money And when it's locked away in your 401k, your IRA, it's very difficult to take it out. And if you do take it out, you're getting taxed up the wazoo. Okay, I'm not a CPA, so you have to go and speak to your local CPA, but they will confirm what I said. In most cases, you're going to get taxed up the wazoo, right? So how do you avoid that? Well, you have a nice amount of money in taxable savings as well. Very, very important. Always overlooked. Always overlooked. Everybody always just, they focus all the time on the retirement plans, but which is good to focus, but don't neglect taxable savings. Now, he also goes on, maybe there will be more inflation, right? 10 years from now, your grade school age kids are going to be heading to college. That's going to be a big expense. So he sort of sets forth three options, which I would probably say also. Option number one, roll the dice and hope everything works out. I wouldn't say that. Financial markets could keep on, and give you an even higher balance than you're currently planning on, right? Maybe your kids will get a free ride to college or start their own business and cash out and make millions. But what if that doesn't happen? He says option two is get a new job that doesn't make you so miserable. Ding, 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 ding. Would you be willing to take a pay cut to increase your happiness and maybe work a little longer? Right. Well, if he's putting away $130,000 a year currently, and he's making $300,000, he could take a sizable pay cut. Right, not put nearly as much money as away, but he could, work 10 years. He could work for another 20 years, right, which would be huge because then he wouldn't be tapping into his savings at all. And then in 20 years, his savings would be so much higher, right? So he said, would be willing to take a pay cut to increase your happiness and maybe work a little longer. The stress and dread you get from working in a job you hate is going to compound even faster than your portfolio in the next decade. Do you have any other options? And then he talks about hiring a financial advisor, There's one thing that is forgotten here, and that changes I would say changes in some respects the assumptions. It changes the numbers, and that's at some point, Social Security is going to kick in, okay? Which means that's going to be X amount of money per year that he will not have to take out of his investments, right? So the first few years of retirement, it's going to be like your expenses are going to be like, it's going to be like this straight up. But then at some point, right, you're going to have another income coming in, right? It's not going to be $150,000 a year, right? But whatever it's going to be at that point is definitely helpful, right? It comes out, if you're talking about $3.5 million portfolio, it's going to be, 1% of that portfolio. 1%, if you're 4% return is going to come in from Social Security. That gives you a lot more runway. It gives you runway for markets to drop. It gives you some runway for less than expected returns, negative returns even. So I wouldn't poo-poo that because it's important. It's a nice chunk of money coming in, which can make a difference. I personally, I'm not such a big fan of retiring early. The whole FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, is foreign to me. I've taken flack for that. I'll probably get some hate emails for that. But I think that people are put on this earth to be productive, not just to sit and watch Netflix at the age of 45, right? So that's why I'm a big fan of what he said, right? If you hate your job, maybe look for another one at some point, so you can get some satisfaction and actually contribute to the world, because I believe that's what our mission is, to take our talents and do something with them to improve the lot of society, not just to hoard money. And like I say, whether it's just travel or all about you, right? It should be about community, family, society. Okay, so that's my pontification of the day. You've been tuning in to the Aaron Katzman Show. We speak about your life, money, and your investments. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. If you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to the podcast. If you think somebody might find this of interest, if it's somebody who likes the FIRE movement, don't send it to them, okay? Because I don't want to deal with hate mail. I've been befriended from people because I dared speak negatively about super early retirement, like living in your parents' basement, clipping coupons, not spending anything of your salary, and then retiring at the age of 38, to a lifestyle of leisure just is beyond me, okay? So don't send it to them. But for other people you might find this of interest, why don't you hit the share button and you can share it with them as well. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.